It's still very early in the season. We're only a few games in, but it is not too early to start looking at how the Twins are using their bullpen because even in a small sample, usage patterns can tell you a lot about roles, or at the very least, what the Twins want those roles to be. So far this season, six relievers have seen game action. Kody Funderburk and Justin Topa have each made three appearances. Anthony Banda and Taylor Rogers both have two, and then Cole Sands and Eric Orze have each thrown once. Now, it's important to point out appearance totals don't always directly translate to a set role. Sometimes they do, but oftentimes context matters a lot more than just how often a guy is pitching. Take Funderburk, for example. Despite being tied for the team lead in appearances, none of his outings have come in the eighth inning or later. Compare that to Justin Topa. All three of his appearances have come in either the seventh or eighth inning. So even though they've pitched the same number of times, their roles look very different. Funderburk, at least so far, has been more of a middle inning option, while Topa looks pretty clearly like a setup guy. Coming into the season, one of the bigger questions with this bullpen was whether or not there would be a true designated closer. And if there was going to be one, Anthony Banda felt like a logical pick. But through his first two appearances, his usage hasn't been that of a closer. He pitched in the fifth inning in the Twins' only win so far this season, and also in the eighth inning of a game that they were trailing. That doesn't exactly scream closer, but I do think there's some important context to that first outing in particular. Even though it came in the fifth inning, it was a high leverage spot. Banda was the first arm out of the bullpen after Taj Bradley, and he was immediately tasked with facing Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso, and Adley Rutschman, which is about as tough as it gets. And he did that with a two-run lead, so while the spot itself might not stand out, the situation absolutely does. That's the kind of spot you trust one of your better arms in. Then there's Taylor Rogers. He's been used in the eighth inning in both of his appearances, which on the surface looks like a pretty clear late inning role, but the Twins were trailing in both of those games. So again, it's pretty tough to draw any firm conclusions from that. And then you've got Eric Orze and Cole Sands, both of whom have pitched once this year. Orze was brought in with two outs in the sixth inning, holding a two-run lead in the Twins' lone win, and ended up finishing the seventh as well. That could point towards a potential sixth or seventh inning setup kind of guy, but it's hard to say anything definitively with Orze just yet. Cole Sands, on the other hand, feels pretty set because in the Twins' lone win so far this season, he was the guy that picked up the save, and he did so against the top of the Orioles lineup. That's not a coincidence. Sand has experience in late game situations, and based on how he was used in that spot, he looks like the Twins' primary closer, at least to start the season. Now, could that change? Absolutely. We're talking about a sample size of just a few games here. But if you're trying to piece together how this bullpen is actually being structured right now, Sands is closing, Topa is setting up, and Funderburk working the middle innings feels like a pretty reasonable way to read it. And then you got guys like Anthony Banda, Taylor Rogers, and Eric Orze, who might be used more situationally depending on matchups and the flow of the game. Like I said at the beginning, it's very early, but even in a handful of games, we're starting to get a glimpse of how the Twins might want to deploy their bullpen. And if these patterns hold, we may already have a pretty good idea of who's handling the biggest outs when games are on the line. But that's all I've got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for Twins news and updates every single day. But until next time, I'm Sam Calder, and I'm out.